good, y'all? Welcome back to Rick Knows Hoops. I'm your host, Tyreek, and the Phoenix Suns are starting to figure it out. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new on the road to 100 subscribers. And yeah, I think the Suns are really starting to put it together. They're on a 4-game winning streak right now, and they just beat the Bucks tonight, despite Giannis putting up 47 points. It was a really good back and forth game. And I think Chris Paul and Devin Booker, they're starting to figure out how to play with each other a little more. I mean, early on in the season, it seems like Chris Paul was really deferring, but I think when D-Book missed that time with that injury he had, I think he missed maybe a week or so. He missed a few games, but I think that helped Chris Paul kind of just get his rhythm back a little bit. Just learn how to play, without D-Book on the court. I feel like, it's Chris Paul, he's a little older, he's trying to defer a little bit. But now I think, he's figured it out, with that time D-Book missed. And he's starting to put it together. He had some big games when Devin Booker was out of the lineup. And tonight, they probably had one of their best games as a duo together. Combined for 58 points. Book had 30. Paul had 28. They had one of their best games. And, they were able to pick up a really good win against the Bucks, which we know the Bucks, one of the top teams in the East every year. And, with Giannis having a game like that, that's a big-time win for this team. And, even without, I would say Devin Booker, he's been really good, efficiency-wise, but it just seems like it hasn't been like Devin Booker this season. Maybe it's just counting stats-wise, but, I'm sure the injury has something to do with that too. But even when I watched him play, it just didn't seem as, it didn't seem like Book. It just didn't seem like Book at all. But I think, he's starting to get his groove together a little bit, and that's great to see if you're a Phoenix Suns fan. And somebody like me, I just want to see this team do good because, Chris Paul is one of my favorite players ever, one of my favorite point guards ever. I just want to see this team make the playoffs because it's been a long time for Phoenix Suns fans out of the playoffs. I mean, 2010 was their last appearance. And, this is going to be the season for them, I believe. 15-9 right now. They started off really hot, and then they cooled down a lot, really bad. Lost a lot of close games. And I was being critical of them. I'm I just don't think that they know how to close games. They're struggling just to close teams out. And tonight they were able to do that. They were able to close out the Bucks. Went down, final possessions, last minute type of game. So, it was a great game. Of course, Giannis having a big game. I'm not really too worried about the Bucks. The Bucks are going to do what the Bucks are going to do. I don't have much to say about them until the playoffs comes around, honestly. But, they're on this little West Coast trip right now. They were able to beat the Nuggets the other night. And, close one they just dropped tonight. But I'm not worried about the Bucks. Chris Middleton's been great this season. Giannis has been, just still doing Giannis type things. So, I'm not really too worried about this team at all until, the playoffs come around. But great win for the Suns, man. Shout out to Mikal Bridges also. He's had a really good season. He definitely should be, in most improved player conversations if you ask me. Because he does it on both ends of the floor. When you talk about 3-and-D, he's one of the best, I think, that does it in the league. But he's more than just a 3-and-D player. He makes a lot of plays off the dribble, too, for this team. And, guys like Jay Crowder, Cam Johnson, even Cam Payne's had really good games this season. And Cam Payne was somebody that was, pretty much out of the league. If you have Cam Payne on your team, you're a tanking team. That's, the tank master. That's Cameron Payne. But he's turned into a very good rotational player. Javon Carter, the real know about Javon Carter, that's 94 feet picking you up full court. The real know about him, he's had just a very good role in this team. DeAndre Ayton, he's being a little up and down, but he's been better lately. I can say that for sure. Since maybe the earlier parts of the season, he's been a lot better lately. Had a pretty solid game tonight, 17 and 7. Hit a 3 too, but but with him, you just want to see him stay in attack mode, stay aggressive. And, he's been working on it. He's been doing a little better since early on in the season, but still want to see him get to the free throw line a lot more than what he does. But good win for the Suns, and seems like they're starting to get it together a little bit, man. It's going to be a scary team if they can put all their pieces together come playoff time. I feel the need to talk about the Grizzlies. I feel like, nobody really pays much attention to them, and they don't get any media attention unless, Ja's trying to dunk on somebody. But other than that, they don't get any media attention. And I think, that kind of needs to change. This is really the definition of next man up. Memphis has always been known for that grit and grind mentality, but this team brings it in a different way. And it's really a team effort. Even though Ja, as sensational as he is, he's not averaging high, point values, but he's one of those players. He gets his teammates involved, and You know, they're just a true unit. Like, they just put it all together. And you know, players like Kyle Anderson, Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bane, the rookie Desmond Bane, who was a later pick. I think he was late first round, like very last pick of the first round, if I'm not mistaken. But he was somebody, I talked about pre-draft time. They could come into a team and be, very solid from the jump. And like he doesn't miss shots. Like, he's super efficient for a rookie. Even though I think he was like a 3-4 year player. So, those guys are always ready to come in and perform. But, he's been great so far this season for this team. And like I mentioned before, even when John Morant was out, they were able still to put it together. Like, Tyus Jones was putting in great minutes. And even like now, Valanciunas missed some time. Xavier Tillman, the rookie, he stepped in. He gave them good minutes. Now he's giving them good minutes as a backup since Valanciunas is back. And Jaren Jackson still is not playing. Like, that's the crazy thing. Jaren Jackson's still not playing. So this Grizzly team, I think, they made it to the playing game in the bubble. I don't see any reason why they can't be a playoff team this year, as long as they can stay healthy and as long as Jaren Jackson comes back and performs well. This team, overachievers. That's how I see them. They're really overachievers. Taylor Jenkins deserves a lot of credit, their head coach. And guys like even Kyle Anderson, slow-mo, he deserves a lot of credit too, because he plays so many different roles for this team. Like tonight, leading scorer for them, 27 points, was knocking down the 3 ball, 6 for 8 from downtown. He plays a lot of different roles. Some nights he's just a facilitator, playmaker. Sometimes he's a spot-up shooter. Sometimes he's creating or being their highest bucket getter. So, shout out to this team for just having that next man up mentality. And hey, I think the sky's really the limit with this team as they grow. Because a lot of those pieces might be there for the long run. Dylan Brooks has been having a good season too. And, right now they're 500. They beat the Hornets tonight. Didn't even mention that. They beat the Hornets tonight by 16. And Scary Terry had 34 points. So shout out to Terry Rozier. Hornets is another team. I think they could. They're on the outside looking in, but I think they can make a push for that 8 seed. Because they've been playing so well. They have an all-star caliber player in Gordon Hayward. And who would want to see LaMelo in the playoffs? LaMelo's he's must-see TV as of right now. I don't think that's an understatement at all, but yeah, shout out to Memphis though for getting this win. 10-10 on the season. Let's see once Jaren Jackson gets back how good this team can possibly be. Bro, the Pelicans are so confusing. I've talked about this before, but they're really just the most confusing team in the league, in my opinion. You have a game, Zion has 29, Brandon Ingram has 21. Didn't shoot it great, but he put up 21, and then Zoe put up 21 also. And you lose that game still. You give up 129 points to the Bulls. And no disrespect to the Bulls at all. I'm gonna definitely talk. I'm gonna praise them, but I don't get the Pelicans at all. Some games they look amazing. They're running, they're playing up tempo. Zoe's playing good. Bi's getting buckets. Zion's doing his thing. And then other games they can't guard nobody, can't hit a shot. Such a wishy-washy team. I guess you kind of expect that when they're young, but veteran coach, you got veteran players in that lineup, you would kind of expect a little more consistency. But I don't even want to talk about them too much because it gets me worked up because of all the talent. But you can see on paper where they would struggle at, but still you would think this team would be good defensively. But they're just not that at all. Like, they have good defenders in their lineup, really, other than Zion. Other than that, everybody in their starting five is a good defender. Or at least, average. I would say B.I. is a pretty solid defender, but very confusing team. Let's show some love to the Bulls. Kobe White, Zach LaVine made NBA history tonight. First pair of teammates to both hit 8 threes in the game. Surprised Steph and Clay haven't done that, but nonetheless, hey, shout out to them. Zach LaVine's been having some huge games this season. We know Zach LaVine can score the ball, but he's taking it to a new level this season where he should be in serious all-star conversations, because without him, this Bulls team is terrible. Honestly, he does almost everything on the offensive side for this Bulls team, especially with all the injuries that they've had, like Lauri Markkanen been in and out the lineup. Wendell Carter's always in and out of the lineup. He deserves so much credit. They got Daniel Gafford and Denzel Valentine starting this game, and they were pretty much in control. After the first quarter, they were in control of this game. But yeah, shout out to Zach LaVine and my guy Kobe White, my Tar Heel man. But trade trade rumors are always going to be centered around Zach LaVine because this Bulls team it's not a good team. And I think I don't want to speculate, but I think it would probably be smart for the Bulls to trade him while his value is kind of high. I know Bulls fans, they probably do not want to see Zach LaVine go because he's all they have, but I mean, like, you could potentially still get, some good value for him, bring it back, because it is still a rebuilding stage. And, like, you have to ask yourself, like, is this, like, even if this team fully healthy, Wendell's in there, Lauri Markkanen's in there, Otto Porter's in there, is this a playoff team? I don't know. They lack a lot of playmaking. Like, they don't have any playmaking in their lineup. As good as Kobe White is as a young scorer, he does not possess the playmaking. He's a natural two guard and trying to play the point guard pretty much. And Zach LaVine, he be trying to play make, but he's best when he's just in attack mode trying to score the ball. I don't know. Any Bulls fans watching this, let me know your thoughts because I want to see like what's the perspective of a Bulls fan. As you guys are trying to become a quality team again. Let me know in the comments. And the Dallas Mavericks, they're starting to put together a little bit of a win streak, a 3-game win streak for them. And Luka Magic is a real thing. I mean, he's everything to this team offensively. Because Porzingis has still been trying to shake off that injury rust. And they really they lack playmaking outside of Luka. You would think like Josh Richardson would provide a little bit, but he just hasn't been good this season. Really, he wasn't good last season either. So I'm wondering like what's going on with Josh Richardson. But shout out to Jalen Brunson coming off that bench and especially down the stretch late. He was putting in work. And this was a close win for them. 1-point win over the Hawks. Last possession was kind of like I guess controversial. Trae Young wanted a foul call. He was hot about that, but on the inbounds play, they had a chance. It looked like John Collins had a lob, like at least a play at the rim. Like he set the screen for Trae Young, then he rolled. It looked like if that pass was on the money, John Collins, he's gonna go up and get that. But pass was never made, and you got Trae Young complaining about a foul call. Gallinari missed the game-winning shot, step back. I think it was a deep too. The Hawks is another team. Like I said with the Suns, they just have those loser habits still. And I know they're still trying to get all their guys in there and stuff, but they're close to healthy now. Like Gallinari's back. Reddish is in there. They did just lose DeAndre Hunter though, so that is a big loss. And they're still missing Bogdanović, but you still have a lot of talent on that team. And 11-13 right now, like these wins are gonna matter for them because they're not gonna be a high seed, so these wins are gonna matter for them. So this is a tough one for them to lose, especially holding a double-digit lead in this game. But, shout out to the Mavs for pulling this one off. There was actually a lot of good games tonight. I touched on most of them. The Nets had one of their best defensive games of the season. I think they only gave up like 30 first half points. Kyrie was doing Kyrie-like things. Hopefully KD gets back soon and none of that virus stuff comes up again for them because they've been dealing with that a lot this season. Shout out to Cat for getting back into the lineup. He's had a tough stretch. I mean, injuries, virus issues, car accidents. Like everybody that has a heart should feel like bad for Karl Anthony Towns right now. He's dealt with a lot. Just not just basketball wise, but personal wise. But I'm glad to see him back on the court because gives the Timberwolves a star player now. Which has been a struggle of a season for them once again. But they played the Clippers tonight, and Kawhi was in cyborg mode. Just hitting his shots, his turnaround mid-range shots, hitting some deep threes. Like he just had himself a ball game. I think he had 36 or 35. I'm not 100% sure, but good win for the Clippers. And I just think the Clippers, they're just slowly going under the radar right now, which is exactly where they need to be. They don't need to be front page news like they were last year. They just need to be flying under the radar. Everybody forgets about them until the playoffs come around. So good win for them. I'm still wondering because I know they were a potential suitor for Derrick Rose. I'm still wondering if like they might go after a point guard at this point still. But you got to think of who's on the market. I mean, would you have enough to go and get Lonzo? Enough assets? Possibly, maybe. I don't know. Another guy I thought of, like at a lower type tier playmaker, like Elfrid Payton might be solid with this team because he wouldn't be asked to do much except just ball control. At the same time, they've looked so good with PG running the point guard position, or I'm sorry, the lead playmaker position. I'll say that maybe they just don't mess with that chemistry because they have been really good this season. So maybe you just keep it how it is. Might not be bad for them. The Lakers played another overtime game. They just can't stay out of overtime for some reason. But they're coasting, and they're still at 20 wins right now. Like, this Laker team, like, still to me, as long as everything goes fine, like no injuries, no virus issues in the postseason, I'm taking them against anybody in the postseason. I mean, LeBron, even in coast mode, he's still the best player in the league. A lot of, big publications saying he's the MVP frontrunner right now. I wouldn't disagree with that. I still think Joel might have it just a little bit, but I wouldn't be mad if LeBron got it because he's still been that good this season. OKC, though, still super competitive. Al Horford's put together about a week or so of really good games. So maybe they can get another first-round pick for Al Horford. I don't know. But, hey, OKC fans, like, I don't care if they don't win another game the rest of the season. They should be extremely happy with the direction that this franchise is going in because Sam Presti has set you guys up to dominate the draft. Like, young talent is going to be in OKC. People are going to be calling your phones for draft picks for like the next 10 years, bro. Like, they should be extremely ecstatic about that, man. But yeah, no Anthony Davis in this game either. But, Montrezl Harrell came off the bench, put up 20 points. Yeah. Can't really say too much about the Lakers because they're gonna be right there at the end of the day. Like I said, as long as nothing catastrophic happens, they should be there right at the end of the day. But yeah, the Nuggets blew the doors off of the Cavs. Like pretty much won by 40. They won by 38, and Jokic didn't even have. He had like 12 points, I think. Like, he didn't even shoot the ball, and he was still dominant. I mean, I feel like when like average teams or below average teams go into Denver into that mile high atmosphere, they just get ran every single time. Like, the good teams will go in there and they'll compete, but the bad teams, they get dominated, fairly often. So that was, bad one. Yeah, in the last game, the Raptors beat up on the Wizards. Bradley Beal is as humble as they come, as loyal as they come. He said he doesn't want to trade. He's gonna keep hooping. Yeah, the Wizards still struggling. Bottom of the East still. I hope they trade. I hope they do. Yeah, Norman Powell, though, shout out to him. He had 28 points. He had another big game the other night too that I didn't get to touch up on. Get some offense off that Raptor bench. But yeah, I mean, that's the slate of games from the night, man. A lot of good games, a lot of close ones. You love to see that because we went through a stretch where there were a lot of blowouts. But it's good to see, I think a lot more competitive games going on. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments about any of the games you tuned into tonight. Yeah. Yeah, but be sure to leave a like and subscribe like I mentioned before, and I'm gonna definitely be back next time. I'm gonna be more consistent too. I'm gonna try at least working stuff getting in the way, but I'm gonna definitely be back next time, y'all, to give y'all a rundown. So yeah, have a good one. Peace.